Every year, Variety Magazine and Lifetime team up to honor the power of women by recognizing the incredible charitable work of female celebrities.
Thank you for honoring and acknowledging women.
Support someone, encourage someone.
When we lift up the voices of other women, we can live better.
This year, we're trying something new.
Hi there, Patti. Hello, Janelle. Cate, how are you?
Our 2020 honorees, along with some of the biggest stars in Hollywood and musical artist Andra Day, are turning the stage over to another group of women, the frontline heroes of the global coronavirus pandemic.
Let's give it up for a lady who is on the front lines.
She is an incredibly impressive woman.
I mean, she's my hero.
She is a hero.
Not even heroes, she-ros.
In times of global crisis, women have the most to lose, financially, professionally, and socially. And yet women are the ones rolling up their sleeves to give others hope and just plain get us through it. Tonight, we come together to honor them.
Thank you to these women for the incredible work that they're doing.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robin Roberts. Thank you for joining us. It has been said that you should never underestimate the power of a woman. Women have shown over and over again the truth in that statement throughout this COVID-19 crisis. Women are showing up for the sick, for their neighbors, for their families, and for each other, and are conquering the challenges created during this time of turmoil and uncertainty. This year, our Power of Women honorees, Cate Blanchett, Patti Lupone, and Janelle Monáe, are joined by a host of Hollywood stars and past honorees to recognize women whose extraordinary sacrifice, activism, and power of conviction are getting us through this. Tiffany Haddish joins us to introduce our first hero, a woman working to keep the South Side of Chicago healthy and strong.
Hey guys, it's Tiffany Haddish here from my house, aka my Merpool. Oh, it's the Tiffany Haddish Mermaid Show. I really want to take my hat off. Well, I don't have on a hat, so flip two locks. To all the workers out there, all the people that are supporting other people, putting their lives at risk. And of course, it would be Lifetime that's honoring frontline hero women. Not even heroes, she-ros. Because she rose to the occasion to look out for others and help save lives. I want to introduce you to Diane Laniker. Hello. A hero on the South Side of Chicago who's been fighting for kids for the past 17 years. You inspire me, and I so appreciate the work that you're doing.
Tiffany Haddish honoring me. Oh my God. I couldn't sleep all night, by the way. My community has been hit hard, not only by the virus itself, but economically it's been hit. Since COVID, I've delivered over 20,000 meals, thousands of masks, gloves, and sanitizers, and an endless number of face shields. Our mission when we leave the house is to save lives and to stay safe. The packages are made with love. They're made with determination. They're made by people who risk their own lives to help people they don't know. Everyone thinks help comes from the top down. No, it comes from the bottom up.
These are angels. All of you, each and every one of you. That's us.
Nobody has to be left behind.
Thank you, Diane, for suiting up every day and sharing your heart with the world. You're the best, girl.
Tiffany, you have really made my whole week. Thank you.
Priyanka Chopra Jonas joins us to share one nurse's selfless journey during the pandemic. Her story is a powerful salute to our healthcare workers, 77% of whom are women.
Hi everyone, this is Priyanka Chopra Jonas. Quarantine for me has been truly humbling. I come from India, and reading reports about how people are dying of hunger and not of COVID just makes me realize how much of a privileged position I have just because I have a home that I can quarantine in. I have the ability to stay with my family, my husband, Being a child of two doctors, I am truly in awe of everyone on the front line who has stepped up to take care of us. So let me tell you the story of nurse Emily Langlois from Bowling Green, Kentucky. She has given up everything so she can work on the front line. This is her story.
I gave birth to my second daughter, Mallory, in early December. I was on maternity leave, but within a week of returning to work, the COVID-19 pandemic hit our area. To be a nurse in the ER during the COVID-19 pandemic is exhausting and scary. Every day we learn something new. You are constantly concerned about correctly putting on and taking off your protective gear. It's frightening to be the one to administer the test. I worry about bringing home this virus to my husband and two children. That started the discussion, and it was not an easy decision. But my husband, Josh, and daughters went across state lines to live with extended family. And as a mother, that is very hard to deal with. I don't get to see the milestones and be with them every day, and it's hard. Hey.
How's it going?
How are the girls?
Oh, they're good. Caroline's going to take a nap here soon.
I missed my youngest daughter starting her first solid foods. And she's now sitting up, and we call it talking. Yelling is more like it. And I have to see all of that through FaceTime.
Hi, how are you?
I have no idea when I will get to live with my family again. We keep picking a date, and it keeps getting pushed back. Living apart from my family so that I can continue on the front lines just feels like what I am supposed to do to take care of these people.
Through her music and activism, 2020 honoree Janelle Monáe has encouraged women, African Americans, queer youth, and the non-binary to raise their voices and celebrate their individuality. We spoke with Janelle about the importance of visibility for marginalized groups and her hero during COVID-19, a woman who has shared over 1 million meals with people in need.
During the pandemic, it's very sad. Black Americans are more likely to be hospitalized. We're more likely to have a serious case of COVID and to die from it. And when you factor in our living conditions, the systemic racism, healthcare, we're going to be hit harder. We are the essential workers, delivering and having to put our health at risk and having those pre-existing conditions because of our poor healthcare systems and how they have failed us. I hope we remember the true heroes in this pandemic. Working class folks like my mom, my dad, were custodians, trashmen. My grandmother served food in the county jail for 25 years. My mom, she was a maid. I want the love and the recognition to be stronger for our essential workers.
Make some noise if you're going to continue to be out there on the front lines.
Being someone who feels deeply connected to the experience of a Black woman and also being a part of the LGBTQIA+ communities, it's super important to try and use my platform to share the mic and to give opportunity.
I want to say to the LGBTQ community, my fellow brothers and sisters, continue to embrace the things that make you unique, even if it makes others uncomfortable.
My name is Jasmine Crow. I'm the founder and CEO of Gooder.
I've been able to watch Jasmine work in Atlanta over the past few years, and she developed a food management platform. And Jasmine and Gooder, they have delivered over 1 million meals in the Atlanta area during this pandemic. That's incredible. Jasmine is a hero to me.
Here in Georgia, on March 13th, it was a Friday. That's when schools were supposed to be closed for 2 weeks. That means kids are going to be going hungry because so many children depend on the free breakfast and lunch that they're able to get at school. And so we immediately put out a call to businesses and said, don't let any of your edible food go to waste. Gooder will come, we'll pick it up. We were able to get almost 200,000 pounds of food in a matter of 3 days and get that directly into the hands of students and to our nonprofit partners. Think of Gooder as kind of like a reverse Uber Eats. We've built technology that allows our clients to simply click on the items that they have to donate, and then we deploy drivers. That food gets picked up and then delivered. We've also built technology that route groceries to families during COVID. We believe that we've built an incredible model that can really solve hunger at scale. And the most eye-opening thing to me, that the face of hunger has really changed. You had people who really had worked all their lives and never been hungry, that all of a sudden were experiencing hunger. I'm using my best skills to help others. It just makes me feel really good that I'm walking in my purpose every day. And I think, hey, women, we're amazing, right? No one would be here without us. And I think in a pandemic, we're showing up and we're supporting everyone. I take this role so seriously because if I could do nothing else, I want to create more opportunities for women to come behind and really reach back and help others. That's the power of women.
Later in the show, we're going to hear from Power of Women honorees, Patti Lupone.
Thank you for the honor from the bottom of my heart.
And Cate Blanchett.
Very small part of a massive wave of women doing wonderful things.
Plus Nicole Kidman, Jennifer Gardner, and so many more powerful stories of women on the front lines of this pandemic. Welcome back to the Power of Women Frontline Heroes. In moments of crisis, many ask, how can I help? But only a few create change. Our next star shares the stories of two young heroes who saw a need in the world and took action.
Hi everyone, Gigi here. I want to tell you about two young people who have been working super hard to make sure their unhoused neighbors and the youth in their community don't fall through the cracks during this pandemic.
I'm Shreya Venkat.
I'm Isha Venkat.
We founded Nest for Us when I was 13 and she was 10. Nest for Us is a teen-led organization that really preaches doing volunteering with a passion.
We've grown from a small project to an impactful organization with over 850 dedicated volunteers, and youngest is 4 all the way up to 70s, 80s.
We offer several programs, from online tutoring for students around the world,
So I'm just going to do the conjugations for ER and IR verbs now.
to feeding the hungry. And COVID-19 has made our volunteer work even more vital. When the whole pandemic first started,
Definitely, I think our first thought was, what's going to happen to the homeless people?
we started packing care packages for those in need. We have served over 25,000 homeless people in the Washington metro area. We might not be able to give them a house. We might not be able to give them a job, but we're able to give them a piece of bread, a water bottle, and a mask.
It doesn't matter how old you are, you can still make a difference.
Thank you, Isha and Shreya, for working so joyfully and effortlessly, and I'm sincerely grateful for the work you and your volunteers do.
Now more than ever, mental health professionals are essential workers. They give us the tools to grieve and process the events of the last few months. They save lives. Laverne Cox joins us to talk about the importance of checking in on each other and to honor one of the heroes helping others cope.
This is an unprecedented moment in our world's history. This is collective trauma that we're all experiencing right now. Day 23, I started to kind of go a little, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I was having a panic attack. And I couldn't breathe and I felt like the walls were closing in on me and I started to lose it. I'm absolutely worried about people's mental health at large. So I want to introduce you to Dr. Danielle Hairston, a psychiatrist on the front lines in Washington, D.C. She's fighting the other pandemic, the pandemic on mental health. Hello, doctor. Hello. How are you?
It's stressful. I think that people compare it to a war zone because you're just seeing a higher rate of death. You are not expecting to see 7, 8, 9, 10 people dying on your shift. Going to the hospital feels like going to battle, and I think just the toll that it's taking on everyone, it's palpable. Like, they've said that, are we essential workers or are we sacrificial workers? And that's something that people feel. There's definitely a mental health crisis looming over all of us. So I thought, like, what can I do to bring some wellness, bring some joy, bring some happiness, because we're all in it together.
I read that you're doing mental health check-ins in the hallway. Like, how does that work?
Well, I'm checking in with everyone. Doctors, nurses, janitors, security guards. How are you, Doctor?
It's really real.
I know, it's rough. Typically in medicine, you don't admit that you need to see a therapist, but now it's front and center. People are actually discussing it. This is now a part of our COVID task force.
You are an American hero. You really are. And I just want you to know that.
Thank you to you for talking about your mental health needs publicly. That's what we need. Thank you for that.
Teachers are doing extraordinary work during the pandemic. A first grade teacher in Maine set up a cross-generational pen pal program to connect her students with an isolated senior. Another teacher in Phoenix live-streamed hatching baby chicks from her bathroom so her students could see their science project through. And one in Connecticut took in a student's newborn baby brother while his family recovered from the virus. Here's former Power of Women honoree Jennifer Garner spotlighting a teacher who inspires her.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I hope that you are all well and safe. Something I've been thinking about a lot as I help my kids with their homeschooling are teachers. I want to introduce you to Lori Douglas, a Texas teacher who has gone above and beyond. When her school was closed due to the pandemic, Lori was afraid that her fifth graders might be shut off from education, and she was not going to let that happen.
Our school is a Title I school, which means that more than 51% of the student body gets free or reduced lunch. One of the students in my class has contracted coronavirus. His mom just relayed to me that his brother now has it. And I have a lot of parents that are essential workers, and some of my fifth graders are providing childcare for their younger sibling. And so they need help. That's why I go out regularly to see my 21 students, to make sure they have everything they need. I have kids that only have access to a really old desktop. So I got tablets in the hands of all the kids that needed them so that we could take it to the next step and do distance learning.
Hey! Hi!
One little girl has 7 siblings. She was telling me, Miss Douglas, I cannot focus in this house. I went up to the school and got her noise-canceling headphones. So that's what drives me.
Thank you.
I need to see that they're okay. I need to see that they're happy and well-fed and have the things that they need.
Very nice.
This pandemic has shown a light on the fact that teachers do a lot more than just teach facts. They tell me all the time, I love you, Miss Douglas, thank you so much. Kids that have teachers that love them back, I believe that they do much better.
Big air hug. Thank you, Lori, for showing up for your students and their families and fostering a sense of hope.
Hi, I'm Blake Lively, and I just want to echo what everybody is saying in the world right now. We are so grateful to all of our essential workers, everybody working at grocery stores, the U.S. Postal Service, your real heroes. Our first responders, EMTs, doctors, support staff at the hospitals, firefighters, everybody who makes these essential services run that we so often take for granted. We just want to let you know right now how grateful we are for you every moment of every single day. I especially want to thank the Child Rescue Coalition, who works closely with law enforcement to make sure our children are protected from online predators. They are especially vulnerable right now because they're doing school and activities more online. Thank you so much to all of the frontline heroes.
When we come back, honoree Patti Lupone. And we're going to hear from Natalie Portman, Eva Longoria, Cate Blanchett, and so many more. Welcome back, everyone, to Power of Women Frontline Heroes. COVID-19 has revealed how many Americans struggle for their next paycheck, and in many cases, their next meal. Eva Longoria joins us to honor a Los Angeles woman making sure no one in her neighborhood goes hungry.
Hi, I'm Eva Longoria. I'm here in Los Angeles quarantining with my toddler son and my husband. I don't know who's worse. During this time, there's been a lot of challenges to overcome, some communities more vulnerable than others. And so I'm honored to thank Lily Lomeli, who is a mother of 3 from the south side of Los Angeles. When COVID struck, Lily and the East Side Riders started a drive-through pancake breakfast. To date, 39,000 meals have been served. I want to say a big thank you to Lily for not only providing meals to this community, but most importantly, providing hope.
This year, Variety is honoring Patti Lupone for her work with Broadway Cares and the Actors Fund, 2 organizations that preserve the arts by helping entertainers find stability in an unstable industry. We reached Patti in Connecticut to talk about the importance of creativity and the arts in times of crisis and who is inspiring her right now.
Hi, everybody. So you want to see the basement, okay? 309, and then I'll take you on a little journey.
It's an essential human right, expression, art. We don't pay enough attention to it in this country.
You there. Why are you so late?
If you see what's happening now on the internet, as everybody is attempting to express themselves, we are our work. I hope that the future of theater doesn't end up on Zoom, but it's very uplifting to see creativity and expression in an effort to keep our spirits buoyed. I'm a New Yorker, and I've had a love-hate relationship with that city all of my life. She is a vulnerable and very tough lady, and you love her more when she's down because you want to protect what is special about that city. I don't think I've ever known New York theaters to be dark this long. It hurts. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the city bounces back. It's not just actors, it's the box office staff, it's the front of house staff, it's the ushers, it's the house managers, it's the porters, it's security. And then the residual effect of that is the souvenir shops, the restaurants, everything that is surrounding the theater district is affected by the theater's close. With the Actors Fund, in tandem with Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS, it's social services for our community. And now that there are no theaters open, they have adapted and raised $5 million to help the industry. My hero is a woman by the name of Tamar Shapiro. She is a social worker and joined the Actors Fund in 1986. In a normal time, they would review 15 to 2,000 cases a year, and in this pandemic, they are reviewing 9,000 cases. She is an incredibly impressive woman in what she has achieved.
The Actors Fund started in the late 1800s, and we've always helped everyone. Ushers, stagehands, lighting designers, the writer, the performer, musicians, dancer, the list goes on and on. People who work in the arts are essential to the development of our culture, which helps to educate people, helps to stimulate imagination and curiosity. But COVID has impacted all of us in a myriad of ways. And for people in this industry, their primary craft has come to a dead stop. So every evening, myself and other team members are reviewing applications, processing them as quickly as we can so that we can dispense emergency assistance to them. This world and our country has been through a great many challenging times, and I think we've always pulled through, and we've pulled through by coming together and by supporting one another, and that's what I see happening here.
When we come back, we're going to hear from Helen Mirren, Nicole Kidman, Cate Blanchett, and a special performance by Andra Day.
I like the ways we will rise up in spite of the air.
Back to Power of Women, Frontline Heroes. You know, many women around the world are living near the poverty line. When a global pandemic disrupts the economy, that puts them at high risk for homelessness. It's an issue close to the heart of past Power of Women honoree, Helen Mirren.
Hi, everyone. Well, here I am in probably the last days of quarantine here in my home in Sierra Nevada. Just before this happened, I was a part of an initiative in England, and I spent a night sleeping out in support of the homeless. So when this quarantine started, my thoughts did go immediately to the homeless. And that is why I'd like to introduce you to Petra Salva, who has managed to get hundreds of citizens off the streets into safe shelter at this extraordinary time of a global pandemic.
In London, on any given night, about 1,200 people would typically sleep rough. So when the pandemic hit, we had to work really quickly. So everyone we've seen so far is pretty complex. High needs. More traditional, typical solutions is to put people into emergency shared spaces. Of course, with COVID-19, that simply wasn't possible. Homeless people are more likely to become sick and potentially even die from this disease. We immediately galvanized to make sure that we could get them off the streets. Hotels seemed the absolute obvious option. We worked with local authorities to book those hotels, and that was a different way that we could get people off the street, and that's what we did.
I've got my life back.
When you get someone who's come into a hotel and says, I didn't know if I should sleep on the bed, it's heartbreaking. It makes you realise how they've been feeling and how they've been treated. Thank you for everything. You have thoroughly enjoyed our time at the hotel. Oh. Some of my workers don't even recognise the people that have come into the hotels. Their clothes are washed, they've put on healthy weight, they're happy and smiling. So those moments are very powerful. This gives me hope when push comes to shove, that there are more people out there willing to do something and to go the extra mile, and most importantly, to put themselves at risk. And I think that shows humanity at its best.
There are heroes all around the world. In the midst of this public health and economic crisis, there is another epidemic threatening the lives of millions of women. In countries under lockdown, calls to domestic violence hotlines are surging. 2013 Power of Women honoree Nicole Kidman joins us to honor two heroes who have made protecting women their life's missions.
Hi, I'm Nicole Kidman, and I am here because I want to say I'm beyond grateful to the women in leadership roles who are protecting the most vulnerable among us. I want to introduce you to Esther Sola, the founder of Futures Without Violence, and she is a pioneer in fighting against domestic abuse.
Nicole, thank you so much for the acknowledgement and for honoring our work. I'm so proud of the work that we do to pass critical legislation that funds programs that are saving women and children's lives. We know in these global crises that women are hit hardest. Domestic violence peaks during these times. Families are under enormous pressure, and the children who are living in these homes are more traumatized than ever. And we hear these stories every day. We partner with organizations across the country who are doing the real work on the ground. They know what their communities need. They know how to reach the people who are most vulnerable. If we put resources in communities, we are going to be saving many, many lives.
Fantastic. And thank you. When I was asked to do this, I was asked to do one woman, but I couldn't pick one, the other woman. I want to acknowledge leading the change for women's rights around the world. Dr. Phumzile Mlambo Ngcuka fights for women on the world stage as the United Nations Under-Secretary General and Executive Director of UN Women.
It's important to say every pandemic has a gender dimension, and this one is no different. Violence against women is a shadow pandemic. It was there before COVID-19. It is heightened during the pandemic. It will be there after. So it is just as significant, as serious for women as having to fight and deal with the disease. So when we are fighting to flatten the curve of COVID-19, we want to also flatten the curve of gender-based violence. This is a human rights crisis. This is also a public health crisis. When we come out of the pandemic, we also need to continue with the fight so that we get to a point where gender-based violence is actually defeated.
When we come back, Cate Blanchett, Natalie Portman, and Andra Day's musical tribute to our frontline heroes. Welcome back to Power of Women, Frontline Heroes. For years, Cate Blanchett has traveled the world as Goodwill Ambassador for the United Nations Refugee Agency, bringing awareness to the 60 million people worldwide displaced from their homes. She joined us to talk about the impact of COVID-19 on the world's refugees and a woman working to help this vulnerable population.
No matter where in the world we live, I think we've really profoundly realized just how connected we all are. We've all learnt what it means to live with great uncertainty. You know, that's where I think about the privilege I've had of working and meeting refugees who live with profound uncertainty. And that is something I think that we need to honour and learn from as we re-emerge, that there were certain systems that we were all labouring under that weren't serving millions of people particularly well. And so I would hope that as we emerge that we don't forget this experience. The only benefit of a crisis like this is that we learn from it.
I am not here as an expert. I stand before you merely as a witness, as someone who has seen and cannot look away.
I think I identified with the experience of women in particular, mothers in particular, being a mother of 4 kids. I started thinking, what would I do if in an instant my life was completely changed and a bomb landed on my house and I was forced to flee with nothing but the clothes I was standing up in? What would I do if my child had shrapnel in its foot and couldn't walk and I had to carry them over the border from one country to another? And I've met mothers like that in the field. The global displacement crisis is not going away. And so I think it's really important to share those stories and say to people, that could be you, that could be me. You know, here we are. Look, we all suddenly, in an instant, our lives have changed. And that is what it's like for refugees. So in a way, the positive thing about this particular pandemic is it's a chance to empathize and re-enter the world with a greater empathy. Alessandra Morelli is absolutely inspirational. I mean, she's my hero.
Here at the airport in Niamey, on board 74 refugees. The majority are children.
She's been working tirelessly with the UN Refugee Agency for almost 30 years in emergency and conflict areas, and at great personal cost. She wouldn't say that, but I'm sure that the mental and physical cost to her has been enormous. And she's been making sure that refugees have the help and the hope and the resources they need. You know, she's had bombs going off around her, but she's kept going. And she knows profoundly how difficult it is to live with uncertainty.
Cate, I am honored to stand by you in this very important day. This is the UNHCR office. This is what I call the table of the 4 Musketeers. This is where we negotiate, we smile, we cry, we fight. UNHCR is the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. A refugee is a person that if he or she stays at home, the likelihood to lose his or her life is very, very high. We ensure that people are fed, people receive clean and potable water. We ensure that the sick are attended. Here comes COVID-19, landing just on this fragility. One of the tools that we use to fight COVID here is definitely the production of soap, mask making, and they also tell other people how to wash your hands. And this is a great battle that all of us should be united because we're all part of that same mankind, humanity, and I think that COVID-19 made us understand that, and I hope it stays. I think female leadership have this capacity to merge care and ethics into a magic formula that makes the world a better environment around you. Until today, I didn't know that I would come here. This is an honor for me. Ciao, arrivederci, grazie.
Hi, everyone. Natalie Portman here. As the world races to find a cure for COVID-19, it's no surprise that many leading the effort are women. While their work can be less visible, they're blazing the path to beat this global pandemic. Meenal Dakave Bosale led a team to create India's first COVID-19 testing kit just a day before giving birth. In Seattle, Washington, Dr. Kizmikia S. Corbett's team completed the world's fastest first-stage clinical trial, the first of its kind toward a possible vaccine. In the Netherlands, Dr. Rinke Bos is leading a team that's testing 10 different vaccine possibilities. And using her experience in HIV and Ebola vaccines, Dr. Hanneke Schuitemacher is overseeing those efforts. In the UK, Dr. Sarah Gilbert is leading groundbreaking research and one of the fastest track vaccine development efforts to date. Thank you, doctors. We so appreciate your work on the front lines.
Get ready, because when we come back, a musical performance from Andra Day, dedicated to our unsung frontline heroes.
We'll rise up, highlight the ways we...
Much against so many odds and obstacles. We see you, and we know that your resilience and determination, well, it's keeping us all safer. Here to dedicate a new arrangement of her hit song, Rise Up, to all the women on the front lines is Andra Day.
It's an honor to be able to sing this rendition of Rise Up for you guys to celebrate the unsung heroes of the world, all the incredible women who are stepping up in such a huge way and in every way to make sure that we all get through this pandemic together, and we will get through this pandemic together because of you guys. Thank you.
Rise up now. We can rise.
For more information about the organizations you heard about tonight, please visit mylifetime.com/powerofwomen.